Now to the trans-Hudson tunnel. It has been the source of debate here in the Garden State. A day after Governor Christie pulled the plug on the plan to build a new tunnel under the Hudson River, U.S. Transportation Chief Ray LaHood managed to get the governor to back off temporarily and possibly get the project back on track. But could it all lead to a showdown between the two sides? Christie wants more federal dollars, and it appears the feds are not budging. Sharon Crowley has more.
If you're a regular commuter and you take this drive every night, especially trying to get from New Jersey to New York, you know what a mess it can be, especially on a night like tonight. So why not build a giant rail tunnel, shorten the commute? Some commuters we talked to would love to see it.
It's going to help, people with driving. Instead of driving, you could, that would be more convenient.
New Jersey Governor Christie says it's way too expensive.
I'm not putting the taxpayers of the state of New Jersey on the hook, no matter how much Senator Lautenberg, wants it.
But Senator Frank Lautenberg says we can't afford not to do it.
People are looking forward to the opportunity to travel easier, to continue to look for good jobs.
My job as governor is to be responsible with the people's money. We haven't had that for a long time. I know he's not used to it, but he's now got a governor who's going to make sure that we have the money to pay for what we're ordering.
Now, the federal government and the Port Authority have agreed to put some money toward the tunnel project, but in the end, it's New Jersey taxpayers that will have to foot the total bill, and at this point, that bill could be $14 billion when all is said and done.
The bottom line is, if it's going to be costing New Jerseyans $2 to $5 billion more than what's projected now, it's not going to happen.
Sharon Crowley, My 9 News.
Joining me now for more, Peter Kasselbeck, Executive Director of New Jersey Future, and Paul Tyahla, Executive Director of the Common Sense Institute of New Jersey. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
After this temporary reprieve, Governor Christie could still pull the plug on the ARC tunnel, and actually he feels New Jersey could be on the hook for budget overruns. So what could it mean if he does call this to an end?
This is a once-in-a-100-year opportunity, and there's no do-over to this. So I think what the governor's position is, let's get this right. On the cost side, he's right. New York City and New York State aren't making any direct contribution to this. This is being funded by the federal government, New Jersey, and the Port Authority. And there are going to be cost overruns. We're already almost $1 billion over budget, and we haven't done much work yet. So the governor's right in that we can't take toll money, we can't take tax money that we don't have, and we can't expose ourselves to this potential cost overrun without some sort of backing, either from the federal government or from New York, which is going to benefit from this.
But there is a kind of do-over at this point, though, isn't there?
Correct, which is why the governor is stopping this before we get too far down the line.
Can we afford overruns?
Well, first I'd like to say this is an incredibly important project that we really have to do. Right now, since 1984, the New Jersey transit ridership has quadrupled. We're expecting it to double again. During the morning rush hour, every 2 minutes there's a train that goes from New Jersey to New York. We are at capacity. We can't move more people from New Jersey to New York. We absolutely need this tunnel. For New Jersey, it's particularly important. We're a dense state. We don't have room to grow. That means our growth has to go to places where we have infrastructure, where we have train stations.
Tell us more about that new report.
The new report, about time.
The one you just mentioned. You said there's a new report out and it has all this information, so give us some...
Oh, well, there's a number of different reports out. The most recent report talks about the time that it will take. The tunnel is going to double the number of people who have a 50-minute commute to Manhattan. It's going to create one-seat rides that didn't exist before. It's going to increase the frequency of the transportation system. It's going to reduce commute times. And there's a number of stations that are going to see dramatic reductions in how quick it is to get from New Jersey to Manhattan.
Now, according to the reports you've seen, is it really going to help commuters?
It'll help commuters, which is a very big reason that commuters should be the ones who are paying for this and not taking $1.2 billion out of the toll project. And I agree with Peter that we need a second rail tunnel across the Hudson River.
So why do you think this isn't the one?
Because this goes to another terminal station beneath New York City. It doesn't connect to Penn Station, it doesn't connect to Grand Central Station, and it doesn't open us up to the rest of the region. Why build another new station there, which is expensive to have terminal tracks, when you can try to network into what Amtrak is doing beneath the Moynihan building and get this right in the one opportunity we have?
Doesn't that mean starting it all over again, and what's that going to cost?
If we were to do that, there would be some re-engineering costs, but it'd be much cheaper to do that than it would be to build something that turns out to be obsolete and to not get maximum benefit out of it. Right now we're looking at a $9 billion price tag. If we're going to make that kind of a commitment to the biggest infrastructure project in the country, then we have to be sure we get it right and we get the most benefit from it.
But we're talking about a project that already has some federal funding into a project that, with new ideas that has zero, that we have to start putting money into. I don't know.
The federal government would not come back to New Jersey and say, yes, we were willing to fund that project, which isn't as good as this project. If we were to come up with something that would connect into the rest of the region's network, it would be better for New York, it would be better for New Jersey, and it would achieve the federal government's goals in a greater way than this one does. When we have members of Congress who are out there to advocate for the state, if they do their job and we come up with a better project, the federal government wouldn't say no.
What do you think the federal government would say, knowing that we've said no to a project that they'd already started?
I don't think they'd be particularly happy about it, but I also think they wouldn't have any reason to say that at all, because this is the most feasible solution right now, the one that we have. We've spent 20 years planning it. We've looked at all of the different options, and the option that's on the table right now creates 6,000 construction jobs.
But what about jobs?
It creates 6,000 construction jobs, 44,000 permanent jobs. It's going to take 22,000 cars a day off the road. It's going to reduce congestion. It's designed so that some of the things that people are talking about, like extending to Grand Central Terminal, can be done in the future.
But shouldn't we get more money from the federal government?
We would love to get more money from the federal government, but like all major infrastructure projects, we've got to look at what we have today. When you looked at the New Jersey Turnpike, the GW Bridge, these are projects that the people in the states knew were important. They invested their money, they paid for them, and now we're still reaping the benefits of these incredible projects today.
Are we also reaping the benefits from a project that was kind of fast-tracked under a previous administration?
We are, and that's part of this. There was a lot of planning that went into this. But a lot of that planning began at a time when this was supposed to be networked into Penn Station or into Grand Central Station. And then we ceded some platform space at Penn Station so that the Long Island Railroad could come in and connect there. So this was a project that began a long time ago with very good intentions, and because of bureaucracies, it just came down to something that doesn't work. And the Corzine administration, near an election, decided they were going to push forward with it, and there's nothing wrong with the Christie administration taking a step back, taking a deep breath, and seeing if we can do better if we're going to make this kind of a commitment.
Now, Democrats say the governor wants to kill the project in order to direct state funds to a broke transportation fund. What's your reaction to that?
Well, we don't think the funds should be redirected at all. We think this is the project that should take place, the ARC project, the way it's designed, and it should move forward. Moving the funds shouldn't be an option at all. And moving the funds in order to create a Band-Aid solution for a broke transportation trust fund makes very little sense.
What do you think is going to happen?
I think we'll wind up with something that crosses the Hudson River. And I think it'll be something that increases capacity. I don't know if it'll be this particular project, though.
What do you think?
I'm hopeful that we're going to get this tunnel.